Hello, fellow truth seekers, and welcome back to Bizarre Bureau. What if I told you that someone from the future is trying to send us a message right now? Impossible, you say? Well, get ready to question everything you think you know about time. Let's dive into one of the most mind-bending concepts out there, the time traveler's paradox. It's not just science fiction. It's a genuine puzzle that has stumped physicists for decades. Imagine you could build a time machine. Your first instinct might be to go back and fix a mistake, right? Maybe you'd warn your past self about a bad investment or prevent a historical disaster. But here's the catch. What happens if you succeed? This is where the famous grandfather paradox comes into play. Let's say you travel back in time and prevent your grandparents from ever meeting. If they never meet, your parents are never born. And if your parents are never born, then you are never born. So, who went back in time to stop your grandparents from meeting in the first place? It creates a loop, a contradiction that seems to make time travel into the past logically impossible. It's like trying to erase your own existence with a pencil that only exists because you drew it. The moment you erase yourself, the pencil disappears and the erasure never happened. It's a paradox that suggests the universe has some sort of self-correction mechanism, a cosmic undo button that prevents these logical impossibilities. But what if that's not the whole story? What if, instead of physically traveling, we could send information back? A message from the future. This idea gets around the grandfather paradox because you're not physically present to alter events directly. It's called the information paradox. You could, for instance, send tomorrow's lottery numbers back to yourself today. You'd win, become a millionaire overnight, and your life would change. But the paradox still lingers. The future you who sent the numbers only did so because you were poor and desperate. If your past self becomes rich, the motivation to send the message disappears. So, would the message ever be sent? This leads us to some truly bizarre theories. One is the Novikov self-consistency principle. It basically says that any action a time traveler takes was always part of history. You can't change the past because your journey into the past is already woven into the fabric of time. So, if you went back to save someone from an accident, you might find that your actions are the very thing that caused the accident. You aren't changing history. You are fulfilling it. It's a closed loop with no beginning and no end. But there's an even wilder idea, the many worlds interpretation. This theory suggests that every time you make a choice that could alter the past, you don't change your own timeline. Instead, you create a new one, a parallel universe. So if you go back and save your grandfather from that fateful accident, you haven't changed your own history. You've just created a new branch of reality where he survives, and a version of you might never be born in that timeline. Meanwhile, your original timeline remains completely untouched. This means there could be an infinite number of parallel universes, each one slightly different, branching off from every decision ever made. It's a staggering thought. Every possibility, every what if, could be playing out in another reality. This would mean that time travel into the past is possible, but you can never return to the exact same future you left behind. You'd be a visitor in a world that looks like yours, but is fundamentally different. So, how does this all connect to messages from the future? Have we ever received one? This is where things get really strange. There have been numerous claims over the years from people who believe they've encountered evidence of future communication. Think about historical texts or ancient art that seem to depict modern technology. Are these just coincidences or subtle hints left by someone with knowledge of what's to come? Consider the strange case of the mobile phone in a 1928 Charlie Chaplin film. In a scene from the circus, a woman walks by holding an object to her ear and appears to be talking into it. It looks uncannily like someone on a cell phone. Of course, the logical explanation is that it's an early hearing aid, or she's just shielding her face. But for many, it's a tantalizing glimpse of a possible time traveler caught on camera. Then there are the numerous online accounts from people claiming to be time travelers themselves. They post predictions, warnings, and cryptic clues about future events. The most famous is probably John Titor, a man who appeared on internet forums in the early 2000s claiming to be a soldier from the year 2036. He was on a mission to retrieve an old IBM computer. He made detailed predictions, described his time machine, and answered countless questions before vanishing. While many of his predictions didn't come true, his story was so intricate and compelling that it captivated millions. Was he a hoax, a brilliant storyteller, or was there something more to it? If the many worlds theory is correct, perhaps his predictions were for a different timeline, a parallel reality that he came from. Let's think about this from a physics perspective. Scientists are actually exploring ways to send information through time, at least on a subatomic level. Experiments in quantum mechanics have shown that particles can be entangled, meaning their fates are linked no matter how far apart they are. If you measure the state of one particle, you instantly know the state of the other. Some physicists speculate that this quantum entanglement could, theoretically, be manipulated to send a signal backward in time. It's still deep in the realm of theory, but the fact that mainstream science is even considering it is mind-blowing. We could be on the verge of proving that sending messages to the past is not just possible, but a fundamental property of our universe. So what would a real message from the future look like? It probably wouldn't be a clear, direct warning like, "Don't get on that plane." If the self-consistency principle is true, the universe would prevent such a blatant paradox. Instead, a message might be incredibly subtle. It might appear as a sudden flash of inspiration, a feeling of déjà vu, or a dream that feels intensely real. It could be the gut feeling that tells you to take a different route home, avoiding an accident you never knew was waiting for you. It might be the sudden creative breakthrough an artist or scientist has, seemingly out of nowhere. Could these be echoes from our future selves, nudging us in the right direction without breaking the laws of causality? Maybe these messages are all around us, hidden in plain sight. They could be embedded in statistical noise, in the patterns of stock market fluctuations, or even in the seemingly random mutations of our own DNA. The future might be constantly trying to communicate with us, but we just haven't learned how to listen yet. This whole paradox forces us to reconsider our perception of time. We experience it as a linear flow, a river carrying us from past to present to future. But what if that's just our limited human perspective? What if time is more like a vast, explorable landscape, where past, present, and future all exist simultaneously? If that's the case, then a message from the future isn't about sending something back. It's about accessing a point in the landscape that already exists. It's less about communication and more about perception. It's a radical idea, but it's one that some of the greatest minds in physics are seriously contemplating. So the next time you have a strange coincidence or a powerful gut feeling, pause for a moment. Is it just your brain playing tricks on you? Or could it be a whisper from the future, a message from another version of you, sent across the paradoxical currents of time? The universe is far stranger than we can imagine, and the answers might be hiding where we least expect them. What do you think? Have you ever experienced something you believe could have been a message from the future? Let me know your stories and theories in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. And if you enjoyed this journey down the rabbit hole, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Bizarre Bureau for more explorations into the unknown. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay curious.